Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. In this video, we have former Bachelor in Paradise star and Bachelorette star DeMario Jackson sued by multiple women for alleged assault. He's facing assault lawsuit from two anonymous women. We're going to read this story for you guys. If you don't remember, DeMario Jackson was involved in a very big story on Bachelor in Paradise with Corinne, where they actually had to shut production down several years ago. I'm hesitant how to navigate these stories because I'm trying my best as an opinion and commentary channel to limit opinion and commentary and let the court proceedings do the heavy lifting. We'll have to see how this lawsuit goes down and what information is provided, but right now it's pretty nefarious. Other than assault, the two women are suing DeMario for false imprisonment in intentional infliction of emotional distress and seeking unspecified damages. And we remember from a few years ago, production was shut down on Bachelor in Paradise, and they did a full investigation to determine if anything happened between DeMario and Corinne. Of course, when you have a situation where you've got a black contestant along with a rich white female, Corinne, there's going to be an aspect, whether it's through bias or not, that is race-related. Bachelor in Paradise star says scandal wouldn't have happened if he were white. I would hate for my biggest enemy to go through what I've been through this summer, Bachelor in Paradise star DeMario Jackson says of the ABC controversy. Again, this was 5 years ago. Speaking candidly to The Hollywood Reporter, Jackson says he feels relieved now that the ABC summer spinoff series has addressed the controversy that featured him and fellow contestant Corinne Olympios in the leading roles off camera for nearly 2 months. I think people wanted it to be something different, Jackson, 30, who is black, says of his on-set encounter with Olympios, 25, a white contestant. They wanted the angry black guy in this little innocent white girl, but it wasn't that. Now, I don't have all of the details on this initial story, but we do know a producer was the whistleblower who said, this ain't right, whatever's going down here. Now, one of the creators, I believe, or a producer of the show said, DeMario and Corinne, the incident was not out of the ordinary. So after reviewing tape from the highly publicized encounter between Corinne and DeMario, Hilton, who is an executive producer, says he knew pretty much immediately that nothing would come out of the allegations of sexual misconduct. Now, what's important is I don't know how this information was leaked, but just the accusation of something like this happening led to a huge news story, and most people, unfortunately, have horrible critical thinking skills and immediately thought that something was up. Just from watching it, it seemed to me that there was nothing really out of the ordinary. It seemed like summer fun that we would normally have in paradise. And so it was fairly clear to me watching it that this was not going to be a long-term issue, yet even the perceived issue is important for us to get right, both for the people who have worked on the show forever and with the cast. It was important to slow down and really look at this and only proceed if everything checked out. Of course, they had tons of evidence. They had video footage, and I'm sure they took this situation very, very seriously. Because of that, the contestants can no longer have unlimited amounts of alcohol. Now, we're going to jump into this story, which has no relation to the previous story. Just because DeMario Jackson was found to be innocent in that story has no bearing for what may have gone down here. I'm going to try my best to read this story without using certain terms. As we know, they get tripped on YouTube, and then the content gets taken down and all that. Very sensitive topic to discuss. Please be as kind and respectful in the comment section as you can. And just remember, we do have innocent till proven guilty, but unlike some random Reddit thread or unlike some, account of he said, she said, or a friend told me this, this is a very serious allegation made through the court system. DeMario Jackson is being accused of SA by two women who say they met the reality star online. In a complaint filed Tuesday in the Superior Court of California in Los Angeles County and obtained by People, Jackson, 35, is being sued by two women whose identity are concealed. They are named as Jane Doe 1, a 25-year-old Pittsburgh native who says she met Jackson on a dating app, and Jane Doe 2, a 28-year-old from Cleveland who alleges she began talking to Jackson via social media. Through their attorney, the women accused Jackson, who appeared in season 13 of ABC's The Bachelorette in 2017 and season 4 of Bachelor in Paradise later that year, of using his celebrity status when trolling the internet or otherwise attempting to locate unsuspecting women, such as the plaintiffs, in order to abuse them. These women who have come forward with their horror stories of how they were brutally SA by Mr. Jackson are the latest brave victims to share their stories of how a powerful male used his celebrity status to manipulate, intimidate, and silence them. The plaintiff's attorney, Keith M. Davidson, tells People in a statement. They, like so many other victims in the Me Too reckoning, will be silent no more. Justice must be served. We look forward to holding all wrongdoers accountable for their despicable and scarring acts. The filing alleges Jane Doe 1 went on a date with Jackson in downtown LA. At the end of the night, when she tried to get out of the car, Jackson allegedly grabbed and kissed her before he exposed himself. Jane Doe 1 was shocked and felt trapped, the complaint says, adding that she told Jackson his behavior was unacceptable and he then apologized. The two went on more dates, and Jane Doe 1 was wooed by his charisma. Following another night out, Jackson was allegedly intoxicated when he forcibly SA'd her, after she repeatedly told him she did not consent, per the complaint. The next morning, Jane Doe 1 went to a local hospital and had a rape kit done, making her mentally and physically exhausted and causing her to be haunted with visions of Jackson's alleged actions. So far, doing everything by the books, going to the authorities. Unfortunately, I believe in most scenarios, having these kits done can always probably be improved upon. In most cases, I think what people want when they talk about having socialized healthcare is having the right people make a terrible situation less terrible by having people believe you, not just having some rusty old cop be like, "What were you wearing?" You know what I mean? So. Because that does happen, that does happen where the kits go unmarked or untested and all that. After a University of Southern California professor whom Jane Doe 1 told about the alleged SA before taking time off from school publicly announced the attack to the class, the complaint says, Jane Doe 1 sought therapy at a treatment facility as well as group therapy. Wait a second. You're telling me she confided, Jane Doe 1, in a USC professor, and then that person told it to the class? Wow. She has had to leave work on disability and calls the alleged incident by far the most traumatic experience in her life. The complaint claims Jane Doe 2 met Jackson in April 2019 and communicated with him via social media. He asked her out on a date in July 2020, but allegedly said he didn't want to go out in public because his Bachelorette fame would ruin their night. He convinced Jane Doe 2 that his private home was the only viable option for their date. At his home, Jackson allegedly attempted to have intercourse with Jane Doe 2, but she refused. Defendant DeMario Jackson forced himself onto plaintiff despite her demands to stop, per the filing. She was frantic in a state of shock, the filing states, adding that Jackson later allegedly confessed he committed an unconsented act against her. Jane Doe 2 also underwent testing for several STDs and attends therapy. The complaint says she remains traumatized and utterly distressed. Jackson is being sued for sexual battery, false imprisonment, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The plaintiffs are suing for an unspecified amount of damages. When reached by People, a lawyer for Jackson had no comment at this time. TMZ was first to report the news. The complaint comes 5 years after Jackson was accused of misconduct on the set of Bachelor in Paradise, shutting down production. Warner Brothers initiated an investigation of the alleged misconduct. All the contestants were sent home, and Corinne Olympios and Jackson both retained legal counsel. Warner Brothers later determined no misconduct had occurred. All right, folks, that's the story. It'll be ongoing, just horrifying, but again, innocent until proven guilty, and we'll report on whatever comes from this story. All right, we'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye, everybody.